Okay, so you've made the decision to homeschool. Now what? Well, getting started can be the most difficult and intimidating part about homeschooling for some people. You see, once you begin researching, you'll quickly discover that everyone has an opinion. And it's not that these points of view or well-intentioned bits of advice are wrong. It's just that there is so much of it, and it can get pretty confusing at times. So first things first, I recommend that you research the laws in your province or state concerning homeschooling. It isn't always as straightforward as keeping your child at home and then you just start teaching. You may be required to do things like, register your child as a homeschooler. You may have to meet certain learning outcomes. Look, there might not be any laws or guidelines where you live whatsoever. Before you do anything, make sure you know the way forward legally. Now, if you're a Canadian, you can start with visiting the website for your provincial Ministry of Education. If you're from the United States, you can visit the website for the Homeschool Law Society. Of course, there are typically homeschooling groups from your state or province on platforms like Facebook. And while there might be a lot of noise when you go on Facebook in terms of comments and suggestions shared, you can usually find someone who can help you interpret and understand the laws surrounding homeschooling in your state or province. So next, you need to make some decisions regarding how and what you're going to teach. This, of course, depends on your educational philosophy. This may, of course, also depend on the laws where you live. So perhaps you've decided that you want to be more of a facilitator than a teacher, and that you want to give your child, the opportunity to explore topics that are more interesting to him or her. On the other hand, you may want to focus on academic rigor, and so you want to ensure that your child touches on all the traditional subjects such as math, reading, writing, science, social studies, and so on. For most parents, their approach lies somewhere in the middle. So, regardless, you'll need resources, and this is where things can get pretty confusing. If you haven't discovered it yet, then you're going to soon find out that there is an entire industry that revolves around homeschool curriculum. It can feel like you're drowning, when you look at all the resources, such as books, software, online classes, and of course all the points of view that are available. Before you dive in, decide what your general approach to homeschooling will be. So, do you want to take a more traditional approach and focus on the core subjects, or do you have something else in mind? This will allow you to sharpen your focus as you begin to explore what's available. Now, just to let you know, I'll be covering the various approaches to homeschooling in future videos. And so if you're not even sure where to start, you can, of course, keep watching. Or if those videos are available now, go ahead and take a look at those. Finally, it's important that you get organized. Whether you want to teach a more traditional curriculum or something maybe a little bit more out of the ordinary, being organized ahead of time will help to smooth over potential bumps down the road. This includes everything from supplies to a workspace for your child to a schedule. Some people who unschool their kids, which I'll talk about in a later video, they may argue that a strict schedule just is unnecessary. But you know what? Having a general plan for each day or week can be really beneficial. Regardless of your approach, there will likely be some stressful moments ahead. Being disorganized and generally unprepared can only add to the stress. Look, of course, I'm only giving you some general guidance for getting started. As you begin to consider your homeschooling philosophy, and your goals, the curriculum, and so on, you'll begin to have even more questions. So give yourself some time to research and prepare. The decision to homeschool, at least in my opinion, shouldn't be done on a whim. Of course, I'll try and touch on as many aspects and common questions as I can in future videos. But if you've got a burning question that you'd like me to tackle, feel free to email or to leave a comment. All right, thanks for tuning in again. We'll talk to you next time.